Holy ghosts of the past, Batman! Tiki here, and welcome to the animated Batcave, the show where Blue Dragon 5 takes me through the odyssey of watching Batman the animated series through for the first time, episode by episode.
That's right, folks. You see, long ago, I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way.
And tonight we're going over part 2 of the iconic Robin origin story, Robin's Reckoning.
Yeah!
Yeah. All right, Dragon. So part 1 really won me over for sure. Definitely got a lot of enjoyment out of it. But I gotta say, part 2, it's really good. I don't quite think it's as structurally sound as part 1. I think part 2 kind of amounts to it's almost like a 2-act play. You know what I mean? How plays are separated by an act 1 and an act 2. And that's how I feel like part 2 of this. I don't mean like the episodes themselves are, because obviously the episodes themselves are split in half. But I mean, this episode very much feels like it's essentially 2 elongated action sequences. And for that reason, I feel like it's going to be really easy to talk about. But I don't know, it didn't grab me quite as much as part 1, but I still really enjoyed it.
That's fair.
All right.
All right, real quick, is believe me, we went through pretty much all the backstory in part 1. Just real quick, I just want to list off the credits, and we'll get into this.
Sure.
Yes. Okay, so again, as same team, so Dick Sebast who directed part 1 of Robin's Reckoning and Dreams in Darkness, episode that you really enjoyed. And of course, just famously, Dick Sebast, he kind of left after Robin's Reckoning as like one of the 4 initial directors of Batman the Animated Series. He kind of left on a high note after Robin's Reckoning. Well, I can't do any better than that. See you guys. It's pretty much Dick Sebast.
Hi, everybody.
And of course, speaking of little anime experts, there we got our writer Randy Rogel, who again worked on the Two-Face episode, the two-parter on Two-Face, and is pretty much responsible for all the ambulance songs of your childhood that teach you about locations. That's pretty much all Randy Rogel magic right there. Now, the one thing that's different, our studio. So the animation studio was, of course, it was not Spectrum. Spectrum, they just do top tier work. Again, kind of the blue meth of the animation studios for Batman. Spectrum, they're the king. This episode was done by Dong Yang. Now, Dong Yang, they did a lot of they do top notch work. Don't get me wrong. Like they did. Honestly, it's kind of a fun recurring pattern with a lot of the two-parters. They did the animation for Two-Face Part 2. That was them. So that's the same. I guess my assumption is that they outsourced a lot of their part 2s to Dong Yang to hopefully kind of recapture some lightning, but they couldn't put their top tier guys on like their part 1 episodes for every episode, so they kind of had to settle for the next best thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another big thing for Dong Yang though is that they did Perchance the Dream, so they did get some top tier animation on this as well, though. So
okay.
Okay, that's about it. Let's just fire right into it. Shouldn't be long.
Let's dive right in. Okay, so after a quick previously on Batman, we had Gotham on his motorbike, kind of ruminating on the situation. You want to give us a quick kind of like where we're at the story, Dragon? Just a very quick previously on, just so we're caught up.
Very simply, Batman and Robin, they were last episode. They were staking out this extortion racket, and they found that the guy running the extortion racket is Tony Zuko, operating under Billy Marin. They put the pieces together. Oh my God, Billy Marin is Tony Zuko, the man who in an attempt to blackmail.
The almanac.
Yes, played Tony Zuko, the man who's responsible for the death of the Flying Graysons, basically in like an insurance attempt of like, hey, you get my protection. Yes, oops, insurance.
Dragon, I want you to know that at work, the oops thing has become kind of a running gag with me, because I work in a thrift store and sometimes I have to move, sometimes I break a glass or two because, there's a lot of glasses that we have to deal with. And whenever I break something like that, I always just go, oops.
Sure that doesn't get old.
Well, what I like about it is that nobody knows what it's from.
God. But the point of the matter is, Tony Zuko, he works in the insurance racket. Like, he offers protection. You don't take it. Some bad's going to happen to you. And that happened to the Haley Circus via the Flying Graysons. And Batman, he's dead set. He took Dick Grayson in to protect him from Tony Zuko seeking revenge of like the only living witness who could identify him. So that's why he's been camping out at Wayne Manor. And essentially, all this was done through flashback that we learn this in the present. Robin, he's basically Batman is keeping Robin's distance from this because he wants to fulfill the promise he made to that little boy years ago of like, capturing the man who murdered his parents, getting Tony Zuko. Robin has found out about this and he wants to get it. He wants to get Zuko himself because it's really personal for him. He just kind of stormed out of the cave. Maybe not even ever again, Alfred. Just kind of storms out of the cave. Basically to find Tony Zuko on his own before Batman does, and God knows what Robin's going to do with this guy, because again, the author of all the pain in his life. And again, Robin's a pretty light character. This is a pretty dark shade of Robin that we're exploring this season. Again, kind of the beginning of a rift, the hint of a rift between Batman and Robin, which of course years later we're going to fully explore the Nightwing story. So essentially all that gets started here, and that's where we left off. Robin storming out to find Zuko on his own. So Robin's tracking the Batmobile. That's where he's starting to kind of find out where Batman's going. So this is where we are in the episode right now. So he's tracking the Batmobile. Batman shuts off, the tracking device essentially on the Batmobile, saying, "I told you to sit this one out, Robin." So there's a little bit of Batman. Again, of course, Schumacher borrowed a lot from the animated series in the both Schumacher films, and we kind of do a lot of Batman and Robin stuff here, where he's basically shutting down the control so he can't jump over the giant statue to follow Mr. Freeze.
You're a real piece of work, Batman.
Yeah. And we try to continue the flashback device. It doesn't play like that phantasm level quality we had in the first part. We continue with the flashbacks, and I gotta be honest, we don't really need a lot of the flashbacks in this episode. It's not bad. They're not bad. I want to make it clear. They're not bad, but they feel like, okay, now we're just doing the flashback because you like that device in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're mentioning this, Dragon, because as you said, they're not bad at all, but I get the sense where it's like, all right,
we're doing it for plot. We're basically doing it to explain like how Zuko got away. That's the main reason we have those flashbacks. And there's like a little, basically we want the end of the flashback, therefore we have to justify the rest of it.
Although the ending of the flashback is certainly very well earned.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, we need that part. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So let's see. So basically,
so Dragon, I hate to say this, but this scene kind of, to me, calls to mind some Batman and Robin gay jokes.
Unfortunately, and to be fair, Tiki, I think it's like the only time in the animated series we ever enter like just again. I want to make it clear, okay? They're not actually homaging that. It's just. They're trying to go for something light, and they're trying
like they're palling around, they're wrestling with each other, and it's just in context.
Basically, we're kind of flirting around some "Call Me by Your Name" territory here. That's
God, oh my God!
Someone again,
do an edit of the "Call Me by Your Name" trailer with Bruce and Robin. I swear to God.
And people again have joked because look, I'm in favor of Armie Hammer as a young Batman. If we were to do that, many people have had the fan campaign.
You know what? You know what? I think Timothy Chalamet would make a damn good Robin. Right, just saying.
But again, now you understand why I'd be a little fearful of that casting, because then we'd hear nothing. There'd be no end to the jokes.
I don't care. Make it a serious thing, Dragon. It's 2018.
Okay, but in all seriousness,
have the relationship and make it be played straight.
All right, but
Bruce Wayne's the progressive guy.
If Grant Morrison were to write that movie, believe me, that might happen.
All right.
But, getting back to the point here, in all seriousness, though, what they had this fencing scene in here. My guess is they're trying to show that Robin has some skills. He's learned a little bit of fighting from Bruce Wayne before he's even become Robin. So we have to justify why Robin's feeling that he can handle himself alone in the episode. So that's why this fencing scene's here, and they're trying to show some fatherly aspects of Bruce. And I don't know, I just feel, I think it's harmless enough, but I mean, you look at it when you're growing up, it's like, yeah, maybe it doesn't play as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, the point is they're fencing and some fencing fun. There's a lesson in finesse, not strength. Takeaway there. Then Alfred. Okay, then here's where this gets started, folks. Okay, so Alfred interrupts Bruce because Lieutenant Gordon wants to meet with Bruce. Wants to meet with Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Tiki, this delights me in knowing because Tiki, you gotta remember this. It all starts here, buddy boy. It all starts like the first scene we ever saw of Batman in the comics. Aside from the whole like those two panels of like the origin of Batman, like the whole "I shall don the omen of a bat." Aside from that,
Right.
I mean, to be fair, if I'm remembering correct, that's not even in the first appearance of Batman. That's like in Detective 31. I'm talking about Detective Comics number 27. The first time we see Batman, we don't even have the origin. We just have the guy in the back costume. The first scene that we see is Bruce Wayne talking to Jim Gordon. And the idea that they were friends and he would visit him from time to time and inform him of what's going on. Therefore, Batman would have his information. That's how that dynamic started. And that's kind of what we have here. Jim Gordon having a little conversation with Bruce Wayne at Wayne Manor here. So it all kind of starts here. And I like how we're kind of homaging these early points in Batman's history. Again, we're kind of pulling from a bit of year one, bit of year two, all these early, the Bob Kane meets the year one costume on Batman. I love when we do that stuff.
Dragon, remind me, is there a year two in comic book form, like an official sequel?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got to check that out sometime.
And Phantasm is somewhat inspired by it, actually.
Okay.
Somewhat. I want to emphasize so a lot of that is coincidental, but some of it is inspired by year two. All right. So Gordon's stopping by to tell Bruce that he may not have to keep the boy much longer. Because again, it wasn't like he's not adopting him quite yet. It's just like he's taking him in as a protection thing, which we were applauding the episode in the past episode for, because like we've justified why Robin's hanging around Wayne Manor after the death of his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I like that we see Bruce is a little bummed out by it. He's a little like, oh, really? Gordon's revealing that Batman, and I love this how it's just been saying, oh yeah, Batman's got him spooked here, and he's just we fear he might try to skip town. That's the fear. The fear is that he's going to skip town and get away, but the point is he may not have to be in hiding much longer because we put the feelers out thanks to Batman putting the fear of God into him. So Dick Grayson overhears this, and that's very important. Dick overhears this, the chance that Zuko might get away, the man who killed his parents that Dick could have stopped before, but he wasn't able to, that he blames himself for. All that's
important. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all that's important. That's all.
Okay. And so Dick Grayson makes like Riley from Inside Out and catches a bus straight to the bad part of town, aka Oakland. Watch out, Dick! Don't go into Oakland.
Again, I just like the camera angle to that scene.
No, not Oakland.
I'm saying little girl going into the unknown versus just little girl going into the unknown versus Oakland. Just that's your takeaway from that scene.
Oakland is the unknown, Dragon. You don't understand. You don't understand.
Every time I've always talked about the camera angles in that scene. You're talking about it's Oakland.
All right.
Anyway, so Dick Grayson's using his acrobatics to sneak out. Is what Tiki's getting at here.
No, I was specifically talking about the bus, mister. I kind of skipped ahead a little bit.
So he can find Zuko before he skips down. He's dropped off on the Lower East Side of Gotham. Kind of the narrowest side of it's kind of the narrow side. I don't know. It's the Lower East Side. It's kind of close to the water, close to the port, essentially. It's a real skeevy neighborhood. It's kind of Gotham's skeevy side. He's asking the bus driver if he's seen. He basically has this wanted poster of Zuko, but I love this little detail. He's ripped off the wanted thing, so people, if they see him, they won't think it's like a cop thing. They'll think, okay, if he's probably his father or something. So he says, nope, I can't reckon I have. Is he your dad or something? Yeah, something. All right. So, by the way, there's an animation error in that Bruce Wayne scene where his hair he looked like present day Bruce Wayne instead of young Bruce Wayne, his little animation goof.
Oh, really?
That's what I wanted to point out before I forgot about in that Batman Gordon, that Bruce Wayne Gordon scene. Okay, anyway, back to the Lower East Side here.
Okay, so yeah, Robin's kind of searching around. He's asking various people, like you said, if they've seen him.
No luck.
From door to door.
Going like grocery stores, pool halls, they're all telling him to scram. Yeah. No luck.
Then he's approached by an ominous man in the alley.
We have this Batman Returns-esque moment here, and I love this.
Mm-hmm. The guy's just saying like, "Who you looking at, boy?" And then everyone's running from an ominous helicopter like thing, Dragon. We don't see it at first. We just see the spotlight of it. And I love how it's kind of like building to the reveal of the bat plane or whatever the
The
hell it's supposed
Batwing.
to be. The bat wing, right? I'm sorry. Duh. My
Yes.
God.
But yes, I just love it. Feels very Batman Returns. It's like that great bit where we see Batman driving
It's
down the
very
streets.
atmospheric.
I mean, I love that idea. We're getting to a point where Batman like driving down the Batmobile or like has like this little bat wing in the sky. It scares the criminals away. That's showing the early impact of Batman on the street crime. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then we have Lenny and Chi Chi here. So Lenny and Chi Chi, basically, and again, they have to. I always interpreted this as they have to skirt some BS and P here. They have to basically they can't get away with prostitution on kids' television. So what they're doing here is it's a grifter scam instead. Like that's the best thing they could clear here because again, it feels I don't know. It feels very suspect the way it's like this man and woman can argue on the street like this. I don't know. Um, where basically the way they spin it here is that she's like she fleeces people like she steals money from people and that she's supposed to cut him in for like a large portion of it and she's been skimming a lot more off the top says you've been cheating me Chi Chi and he pulls like out of her purse like a roll of 50s or something and she's about to get a whooping so then Dick springs into action to save the day here. We see the early on hero bug, and again, hence the whole fencing scene. You got to see the kid's got the hero bug, and you will believe a boy can become Robin. And what we do here, you will believe a boy can put on tights and fight crime, call himself a bird.
And again, it's very much Robin's year one in a lot of ways.
It is, and that's also a story, by the way. There's a Batgirl year one, there's a Robin year one. They're both really good stories, by the way. Seriously, they're really good. I highly recommend them. And honestly, and again, for anyone who's using the DC streaming universe app, you can read those now. Closest thing to an advertisement we'll get here. So let's see. So again, I love that it's again street level crime. Again, very much like what bred Zuko. So again, it's like Robin taking on street level crime, like a Tony Zuko type here. It's, a guy stealing money, very much like someone like extorting money. It's kind of nice. He kicks the guy in the shin and basically dodges him by jumping up, using his acrobatic skills to jump up to the ladder and basically propel the guy into a dumpster. Essentially, he's roaches in here. It's all in the dumpster and everything. So Robin saved the day. Hooray. And to thank the kid, she thanks him with pie.
On my cake.
I was thinking more of a Franco angle, but sure. She was really grateful, so she got him a pie and a cake, and she actually went the extra mile and she put it on top of the cake.
Yes.
Make it a pie cake.
That's exactly what happened.
Or a pake.
Peak.
Oh,
okay. No. I don't approve of this peak dragon.
We're a very cakey pie.
I don't think Pie would approve of the peak thing either.
Well, you dragged him into this.
All right.
Anyway, so the point is, he's having some pie. And Tiki, how is that pie?
It's so good.
There you go.
All right.
So the waitress recognizes, she's like, hey, kid, what you haven't eaten since, looks like you haven't eaten since Christmas. What's going on? He's chowing down on that pie because it's so good. Then this waitress comes by and she recognizes the picture of Zuko and he spins it as, oh yeah, my uncle. And says, oh yeah, that's a deadbeat who never tips me. He lives over there in that abandoned building across the basin. Basically this kind of river, like kind of divider between the blocks. So we have this cut to this dramatic Zuko dramatically packing, and I love how we obscure him and everything. He's dramatically packing as he turns. We, the audience, see Dick outside watching. He's like, "Oh my God, there he is!" And very good in visuals here. So he's going to the phone booth to call 911 and everything. I found him. I'm gonna call 911. But on his way though, he bumps into this can. I think he steps on this can or he bumps into a can, which makes a noise. And there's like this great Hitchcockian suspense. Like, did he hear? Did he hear? And again, I love this. The false insecurity. He goes to the phone booth, and he's dialing. Zuko looked like he was continuing the pack there, and he goes to the phone booth, and as he grabs the phone, Zuko yanks him out of the phone booth and recognizes him. It's great. So he tries to get away like before, like kicking the guy in the shin. But then Zuko gets, and this shows that Zuko is such a dirtbag. And Tom F. Wilson, again, is the perfect casting choice for Tony Zuko here. Again, to play America's bad guy in Biff. of all errors, Biff Tannen. You know, various time frames and
And who
various decades.
actually played America's real life bad guy.
Well, there. Anyway, so
Dare I say, kind of.
kind of. Well, again, it's in a safe space. Even if folks, you don't have to feel guilty. You can just go back and say, well, you know what? It's like it's inspired by. It's not anyway. It's not taking a stance.
Anyways,
Anyway,
not to
taking
get too
politics out of Back to the
political.
Future here, Mister.
Yeah, yeah.
So show you Zuko's a real dirtbag here. Zuko is planning on killing his. Well, if it isn't my material witness. So I love this as he's about to contemplate again. You gotta remember, kids in peril is another network no-no, but they have to skirt a line here. But I'd like to think that the way they skirted this is that the minute he even implies threatening to kill this kid, Batman comes in with this awesome punch. Like bam! He just punches Zuko off screen. Says the only place you're going is up the river, you little scum. Sorry, the only place you're going is up the river, you scum.
And then once again, we get Batman in awesome silhouette.
Yes, I did notice. It's not an error. It's just the fact that they tried to make Batman look different from how he looks in the present day. So they got rid of all the blue highlights on the costume for the flashback. There's no yellow oval or blue highlights, because again we had like blue highlights galore in the flashbacks last episode. And they look beautiful because that was Spectrum. We don't have that money, but we're going to do the most we can with it anyway. So again, he's like, I'm going to change my travel plans. Batman comes and punches him. You're done. But then Robin gets overconfident here. What happens?
Yeah, let's see. He gets overconfident, and I'm sorry, Draken. My notes are a little scrambled here.
Yeah, kind of kid fashion. He goes off to beat on the guy because now Batman, shut up and get away from him. I'm going to beat up this guy a little.
Mm-hmm.
Just punching Zuko a little bit, but then Zuko shoves him away. And as he shoves him away, Robin gets up and he grabs this faulty railing and then he plunges into the basin, which leads to essentially a giant waterfall, if you will. So I love this. Without a moment's hesitation, Batman, he awesomely, within half a second, he dives into the basin to save the kid. That's my Batman, Tiki. That's Batman. Then Zuko gets away. Well, so much for the Bat and the Brat.
I love the animation here where young Dick is just, pounding on Batman's chest like, why'd you let him get away? Why'd you do that?
After he saved him from the basin, by the way, grapples away from the basin. But yes, then we have basically...
But it's a really realistic little kid reaction, you know what I mean?
And it plays a lot better than it did in Batman Forever.
Well, yes, Dragon.
Remember, we had...
Most things play better than they do in Batman Forever.
I mean, seriously, we literally had this scene in Batman Forever, and it always stuck out.
Something in Batman Forever that plays better than it does in another, form. Something.
There might be. Okay, come on. All fairness, there might be something. All right, I was going to think about it.
I think it'd be easier to come up with something from Batman and Robin, honestly.
I mean, the only thing you have in Batman Robin is the scene with Bruce and Alfred when Alfred's dying. That's the only moment you have in that movie. It's legitimately good.
All right.
Anyway, getting back to things here. Okay, never mind. Doesn't matter. Let's just keep.
The Joel Schumacher movies have really good sets. I'll give them that much.
They do. I mean, seriously, there's something in Batman Forever. I don't want to. I'm gonna have to go through the whole movie in my head. I don't want to devote that time right now. All right, let's just get back to things here.
Well, we all know one thing: it isn't Chase Meridian.
Oh, it's not Chase Meridian. Anyway, where were we? So yes, okay. So again, the whole reason for the Schumacher tangent was that an adult man beating up on him. It was all your fault. In this case, it's the kid having the logic. You let him get away, not realizing he was in danger, and Batman made a call there. And then, of course, we have this great kid logic moment here where the Batwing shows up. Where are we going? Again, kind of snaps out of that kid rage to what now?
Mm-hmm. And again, I really love the atmosphere of the Batwing just pulling up, and the two seats in it and everything. It's very mythic in a way.
Oh yeah, I can't tell you how many times just the Batwing has this great kind of sound design with it when it shows up against this big flying saucer like bat in the sky with that cockpit. It's just So they head to the Batcave, and Batman's remarking, this is where I work. Like, you live in this cave? This is where I work, and you're the second person to see it. And I love that Batman's not being imposing like he usually would be. He's not putting up a front here. He's kind of breaking it down here. He's like just being very direct with the kid.
Yeah.
One, because he doesn't want to traumatize kids, and secondly, for the reason that's about to happen. Why'd you bring me here? Because I want to know how badly you want Tony Zuko. And he asks, "Who are you?" And he unmasks himself and he reveals it's Bruce. And we reveal Alfred coming in here. And what does Alfred say?
Well, I guess Master Dick's visit will be, I'm sorry.
Indefinite.
Indefinite, yes.
We have this great hopeful smile by all parties involved here. It's like, oh my God, look at that hopeful smile on that kid there.
It's
like,
literally a Coke and a smile moment minus a Coke.
It is, and again, like the only thing they could have done to really make this whole two-parter better for me is if they did that moment where he's swearing him in like the comic. But again, that's a very small gripe. I'm not holding that against the episode, really. I'm saying, like, oh, that would have been cool, and they wanted to do it too. So, because we never see him like as a kid in the costume in the show. It's kind of the other thing too. Is why it would have been cool, but because the implication is that he does put on the costume as a kid, and he's been going out at a certain point too, which we never have seen that.
Okay.
So yes. Anyway, kid, takes to the present.
Let's see. So we're at a loading dock, right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, yes. I mean, Robin, he's mulling over, it's kind of the hope and purpose that Batman gave him in that moment. Now he's going to find Zuko, and he's on the motorcycle. And he's remarking to himself, "You're going down, Zuko. I've been taught by the best." Again, I love he's complimenting Batman while he's still kind of angry at him. Again, showing it is coming from a place of love. That how could you prepare me for this my whole life, and you cut me out of this? So we're at the kind of the this apartment complex essentially, where they have these news reports. Basically, the exposition, just the long and short of it, is Dolan, the guy from they interrogated in the first episode. They're going to his Robin's going to his apartment to find a lead on Zuko. That's where he's at right now.
I'm sure you love the gadgetry of the mini flamethrower melting the locks.
The mini torch, yes. The mini,
yeah.
I remember I've cataloged that one. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
All right, so then he's in Dolan's apartment. He uses this another great gadget here. He uses the call tracer device. He uses the call tracer device on the phone. And redials Zuko's number here, and of course I love this. He's so close again. It's like I'm so close to Zuko, I could smell him sweat. It's that sort of thing. Where Zuko's on the phone here, the man who killed his parents is on the phone after all these years. He hears that voice. That voice is ingrained in him. And I love that we build up to Zuko in shadow and everything. Like we're not seeing him on the other end of the phone. We're just like we build up to the eventual look, like the old Zuko. We haven't seen old Zuko yet. We've just seen young Zuko in all the flashbacks here. Just, hello. Who is this? Hello? McFly, anybody home? Sorry, a little Tom Wilson joke there. Anyway, so then we has an address, 1252 Ocean Parkway.
Mm-hmm.
And then we reveal the aged and haggard and paranoid Zuko, because the idea is Batman terrified him so much he skipped town. He never returned to Gotham until now. So we reveal Zuko and his cronies. They're kind of laying low, playing cards and everything. And they're telling him like, "Hey, you got nothing to worry about, boss." And he grabs his goon. He's grabbing him by the lapels. Says, "Don't tell me I've got nothing to worry about. I'm back in town 5 minutes, and Batman's on my tail. He's like a dark angel. He's a death man. He wants me. Why you, boss? How am I supposed to know? I'm sorry. How should I know?"
Now, Dragon, it's funny because we were talking about last episode the bit with the nail gun being a way to work around the sensors.
Yes.
But holy crap, we get a lot of machine gun violence in this episode.
The Tommy guns, Tiki, and all throughout Batman the Animated Series, the biggest loophole they had, Tommy guns, because like it's a 40s gun. It's like honestly, I think technically even like a gun from the 20s. I think. But the point is,
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
The point is, it's an old gun that no one can get. It's not like it's not a handgun you can find around the house. Like years later, when they were on a different network, they get away with handguns more, but it was still very very dicey. So they could rarely, if ever, do handguns. Like do Mister Freeze's freeze gun and all the Tommy guns there, till their hearts were content. That's about it.
I'm just saying, like you see the shells and everything, like it's pretty intense.
Again, it's like robots and Tommy guns, Stakey. That's you can get it like kill a robot any like 9 ways the Sunday, and you shoot the crap out of people with Tommy guns.
All right. So yeah, he hears a noise coming from the walls, and he just fires at the wall with his Tommy gun. We see
The
like
ceiling, even that's
yeah, the
fires,
ceiling, right.
which is crazy. Like Scarface style, like fired at the ceiling,
Right.
and
Like I
nothing.
said, we see all the shells like landing on the floor. We see his eyes just like sunken in and paranoid. Really good animation there. Probably one of the best bits of animation, I would say.
I mean, I like that design. It just shows you how aged and haggard
Uh-huh.
he is. So then, again, nothing initially, and then like a moment past, like, see, boss, nothing. Then Batman crashes through the ceiling onto the poker table, and we have this beautiful, this hilarious bit of Zuko, which says, "Mama,"
Mama.
we're just terrified. Oh my god, I'm right
Dragon,
here.
since I've been rewatching Breaking Bad season 5, in the words of Holly White, Mama.
Yeah. So, so here's a censorship thing right here. I mean, I can't verify this. This to me it smells like censorship here. Batman, he fell and he twisted his knee, and that has to be because they can't get away with Batman having been shot in the leg. That has to be why he twisted his knee.
I could totally see that.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that out of. I don't think I'm that off
No,
base.
no,
with
no.
that.
I'm sure in the original script he probably got shot. I could totally buy that.
Again, they don't get away with like handguns or being shot until like New Adventures. Trust me, they can't get away with that. So, and Zuka has a great line for a guy in a protection raid. It's like arms akimbo, like as the Godfather, essentially. That's
Oh
kind of like the
man.
best way to describe it. If you're in the extortion, it is like the best line right here for a commercial break on Batman. Here, which says, "Oh, you twist your knee. Looks like you could use protection. Lucky for you, protection's my racket." Of course, we see Batman's in trouble, facing the wrong end of a Tommy gun. Now, Tiki, again, it's been a while since I've seen this episode, and at the very least, I've never really had to go over this episode with a fine tooth comb. There was a detail that blew my mind that I never got
Ooh.
in all the years I'd watched Batman the animated series. This one line, it's like, yeah, oh my god, how did I never see that? So we cut back from commercial. There's a little bit of it's like this one line of exposition, Tiki, that kind of blew my mind. Zuko says, 9 years looking over my shoulder. And that 9 years tells me something I never really considered with Batman. How we kind of give an approximation of how long the animated series Batman's been in operation. He's been Batman for at least, I'd estimate at least a year beyond 9 years, like a year before the Zuko affair is probably, again, all the stuff that we saw in the flashback, that's probably year two. Like year one is Mask of the Phantasm. So I'm thinking like that. I think he's been like the Batman we have now is like a 10-year-old Batman.
Okay.
I'm saying a little detail. I never knew how long he. No one's had ever like nailed down how long he'd been Batman. It's always been like a lot of guesswork, but we had it said in an episode. Like it's on the record, man. It's 9 years, which implies 10 with Phantasm. So
Nice.
at least 9 to 10 years he's been Batman. I'm sorry, I'm geeking out. Let's keep going.
Okay. No, I appreciate your fandom, Dragon. It's a cool little detail.
Let's see. He pulls the trigger on an empty gun. No. So Batman pulls a smoke pellet, and he has. I just love this casual walkout. Where Batman's playing hurt for the rest of this episode. And I just love how casual's like, well, I can't really pull a bat X, I'm just gonna walk out.
Right.
Kind of limps out casually because they're all distracted by the smoke. It's like, yeah,
And
why
then
wouldn't they do that?
And then we see we're in one of my personal favorite locations in cartoons in general, Dragon, the seedy amusement park.
Yeah, it's kind of honestly, it's even better than that. It's kind of a pier.
The seedy boardwalk.
Yeah, it's like a midway pier boardwalk in a way. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So
it very much calls to mind Scooby Doo.
It does. Now, Tiki, and again, there's another detail that again I felt kind of not as mind blowing as the 9 years thing, but there's another detail with the setting that was chosen here that occurred to me on a rewatch that I never thought.
Oh wait! Can I guess?
Okay.
Is it the sitting duck?
No, but that's well. I didn't see that though. You're not wrong about that. I didn't see that's not the detailed time, but you're right. I didn't see that one either. That was
I
hilarious.
picked up on the sitting duck
That
thing.
was that was funny. I was so enamored with the action. All those years, like okay, he's just getting to it. Okay, so let me build to it anyway.
Okay.
So let's see. Zuko's sending his guys, like orders his guys to go around and find him, fan out and find the bat. Batman's hiding again. He's playing hurt. He's hiding on the pier Midway, like all these Midway games and everything, all these amusement park games. And he uses his cape and like a plank of wood to make like a splint for his twisted knee. And he dives into the sitting duck shooting gallery, which of course sitting duck is in Batman right now. He's a sitting duck. Ha ha ha! Animators having fun. I like it. So we have this gag where one of the thugs he hears a noise. It's a mouse, and of course Batman. Again, you think Batman's a goner. He's a sitting duck, and he says, "Okay, there's just a mouse there. What happened?" And of course Batman's right behind him, bat appearance, and he lays the guy out. Meanwhile, oh yes, we have Batman and Robin. I'm sorry, we have Batman and Robin done right yet again. Where Robin makes the jump this time. Where again, like the beginning of Batman and Robin, where he can't, where Batman says, "No, you can't make that jump. I can make that jump." Ah. Where basically Robin, we keep periodically cutting to Robin, like, is he gonna make it in time to save Batman? Is he gonna make
uh,
it in time to save Batman? And he basically makes this jump over like this bridge that separates makes the jump at the nick of time, very Batman Robin esque done right. Then we have the carousel. So again, this Tiki, knowing what we know about carousel settings with
oh
superhero
yes,
things,
yes.
this could get really violent. If this were the Punisher, it would
You
be
know
a gore
what?
fest.
It does like toe the line into like suggestively getting really violent.
It does. You're not wrong. It does. So let's see. So Batman's trying to avoid detection on the carousel. So far, he's doing a good job. He's playing hurt. Robin, meanwhile, he's like sliding under trucks that are blocking alleyways and everything. Batman, he's spotted in the carousel mirror, which is not good. Batman using his he's using the horses as cover. He's using like the bolas to kind of wrap the goons, like basically get them like wrapped around the horses and everything.
Mhm.
Batman's starting to struggle, and the goons are calling for help, which is not bad. So Batman's struggling, and the carousel turns on by accident. I forget if he puts it on, but the carousel gets turned on. Batman's fighting, hurt again. He's bolo wrapping a lot of the other guys. Basically, I'm sorry, there's a lot of bolo wrapping in this, and honestly, in both parts, if you really wanted to track it. Let's see. Batman, um, sorry, the goons come over and they're starting to they're shooting at him, and basically again all these goons are tied to these are tied to the ride, and it says, "No, boss, don't shoot! You're gonna shoot us!" And this is where it toes that line, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You have all these goons tied to these horses, and again, very clever move. It's kind of a
I
clever
mean,
move
in
on
the
Batman.
Marvel Netflix shows, Dragon, they would totally go here.
Yes, and they'd be goners. Or basically, the goons are they're conscious, but they're just kind of tied helpless to these
uh,
horses now, thanks to Batman. And basically, Zuko's armed. He's reloaded the Tommy gun, and it's like, "No, boss, don't shoot! You might hit us!" And of course, Zuko has this great gangster line here, his old school gangster line says,
I
"Sorry,
pay
boys,
you, you take the risk.
you pay your money, you take your chances." Then Batman, what he does to save these guys and himself is he overcranks the ride to kind of make it go faster and faster, and basically kind of hopefully like maybe knock Zuko out if he's lucky. Robin, then here we go, and here's a detail I kind of missed too. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. It's he bursts through this sign that says the Flying Fury or something. It says like the Flying Fury because he's like a flying Grayson who is seeking revenge. Therefore, the Flying Fury. Get it?
Uh,
So and Robin has a cool entrance. If you tell me this entrance wasn't awesome.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
And to me, this is where the second episode. This is where the second part really. At this point to the end is where I really love the episode. But
I think it's a strong end. You're not wrong. It definitely sticks to Landy, and I just don't think all the way through it's as rock solid as part
and
one.
you're not wrong. I fully get that. I'm just saying like this is
Yeah.
the point where I'm. This is where the episode kind of earns its part two here is where
Uh-huh.
Robin swoops in on the bike, and there's throughout all the animated series you get a lot of cool Robin bike stuff. especially in the movies. Anyway, so yes, swoops in on the bike. He grabs Zuko all in one motion, by the way, and I love that. Like, he's just dragging the guy who ruined his life down the dock while on the bat cycle. He stops, and of course, like, the guy's like tumbling around there. He kicks the gun away, and then we have the big showdown. This is the Lauren Lester performance I'm talking about here. Like, Lauren Lester can use the jovial guy making the jokes and everything, and you gotta love him for it. And again, we're taking Robin to a place we really don't see him do a lot, where you're through Zuko forever. It's like basically Lauren Lester has to do here. What this episode has to do, Tiki, is sell you on the idea that Robin, our boy wonder here, kind of the color to Batman's dark and grim and everything, might kill this guy, and Batman will be helpless to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to buy that. And I think they sold it just right here, where especially after getting us in the bag after that first part, seeing what Zuko's done and how what motivated Robin, how broken he was by this guy. That's so Birdie boy, and of course, like, he goes for a punch, and Robin just instantly blocks that punch. Robin gets really intimidating. And he's really intimidating. It's this look that he gives him. It's a really mean look to him. Just, I waited a long time.
Oh man, yeah.
He tosses Zuko around like into all these cans at the end of the pier, and everything's tossing him around. And he holds, and then Tiki. This is the bit that blew my mind here. The other thing that belonged to 9 years here. This is the moment right here.
Okay.
So, and basically, it's the shot they're working. The shot they're working right now is exactly what I'm talking about, by the way. So he basically tosses Zuko to the edge, and he breaks like the railing of this pier. And the thing that never dawned on me is like, why is it set at a pier? And this moment is where it all clicked for me. Where, oh my god, he's dangling Zuko from a great height and threatening to. Again, it's kind of a PC way of, again, like in a BS&P thing of, like, if you're going to kill somebody, don't shoot him or stab him or anything. Like, let him fall from a great height. It worked for Clayton. But
yes.
but seriously, I love the irony of, like, you killed the Graysons with a great fall, and he's going to kill the man who did that to his parents the same way, and that's why you set it from a pier from a great height. Yes, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, you're right. Good catch.
It's got kind of like an amusement theme and a circus theme, like something you put up. It's like, yeah, it's what the pier makes sense now. So, and again, starting to
and also just piers are a very eye-catching location in animation. And
sure that.
Basically, piers are like my if I had it my way, every warehouse in animation would be a pier.
And that's fair, and that's cool too. And I get that. Believe me, yes. Seriously, again, I just love that irony. Just like that's what really kind of jumped out to me. Apart to yes, that's a perfect, like, if Robin's going to kill this guy, that's how he's going to kill this guy in a way that, well, hey, so he made his own bet on this. So Batman, he kind of limps over, and here's the big moment of truth: if this episode works at all or not, is that Batman limps over. Says, enough, Robin. You can't let your emotions get the best of you. And again, Batman's trying to be a mentor here to him. He's trying to tell him, like, not so many words, like, hey, don't do this. Don't kill him.
And then Robin very dramatically is just like, how can you know what it's like, Batman?
Well, first he says, stuff your advice, Batman. You and your stone cold. This is Lauren Lesser earned the Emmy here.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff your advice, Batman. You and your stone cold heart. You don't know how I feel. How could you? And then there's that pause.
The pause is just like, it's the best pause in the world, Dragon. It's so dramatic.
Yes, that pause where it just, Tiki, this is what I'm talking about, that performance here. It's even him not saying anything. It's just that performance. It's conveyed in the animation. Exactly. It's just what's conveyed in the animation here. Him realizing what he's just said to who he's just said, of all the people.
And the Oscar for best non-verbal communication and acting in an animated role goes to...
The most niche Emmy ever, by the way. It was the Robin's Reckoning Part 2. Part 1 got an Emmy, now Part 2 gets one.
Oh, God.
But
no, this is an Oscar, Dragon.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
yes. For some reason, it gets an Oscar. I don't
it's
care.
Even more. Kind of the new. It's the first. The Oscars are adding all these awards. It's the first kind of hybrid Oscar. It's the hybrid Oscar.
It's the fusion Scrooge of the Oscar season.
Sure, why not? Anyway, but I just love him just taking that beat there, and he's realizing what he said, and it's the folly in what he said to who, and says, oh my God, I've just said. You don't understand what that loss is like. And again, Tiki, this circles back to that episode where the most impactful emotional scene in the first part of this two-parter was Robin, just kind of them consoling each other over their mutual loss. And Tiki, it's all relative here. It all comes together here.
Uh-huh.
Then Robin he relents and says, "Oh, I'm sorry, Batman. I didn't think about that." Without saying like who he is or anything, it's brilliant. Then the GCPD are arriving, so now Robin's got a choice to make. It's like do or die right now, very literally. So Robin makes a choice. He makes the great moral choice here. He chooses not to kill Tony Zuko and seek revenge. He throws him across the pier there because the guy's a scumbag, scumbucket, if the operative word. And then there's like a little moment here, just kind of again years like not darn. I keep saying years later. Darn, keeps getting me. Got me rewatching this. I love that Jim Gordon was there for the arrest, as he typically would be. The guy who was there when the murder happened, he kind of got to see justice done at the end. It's like that little detail. He was there, like we had the red hair back then.
It's literally like a shot of Gordon, right? Like he's in literally one shot in the whole episode.
Well, that in the flashback, yeah. I mean, it's
right.
But I mean, I love that we saw like the younger Gordon was there when the murder took place, and now the case is closed, and Gordon's there to make the arrest. I mean, that's nice. It's like the thing he was never able to do for Bruce when he was able to do for Dick Grayson. That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Then we have the final scene here. This is a beautiful scene. It's a very again Kevin Conroy this episode like he didn't really have a lot of stand-up moments like he did in the first part, but this is the moment where Kevin Conroy really just kind of he sings this subtle moment right here where Robin says, "You were right. I take it. I take it too personally." And then Batman has this beautiful line here. He says, "It wasn't that, Robin. It wasn't that at all. Zuko's taken so much. He's caused you so much pain. I couldn't stand the thought that he'd take you too." And just here's the thing I can't do it justice. Kevin Conroy has like this lump in his throat when he says that. He says like I was the closest Batman will ever come to saying I care about you, and I didn't want to risk him killing you, like he killed your family, or you living with the burden of killing him. I didn't want you to live with that, or I didn't want him to take you away from me, like because you mean something to me. Like that's all beautiful. And he looks away when he says it too. Is the fact that he looks away because like, he doesn't want Robin to see him get emotional. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
that's what he does. So Robin's touched by this, and it's like a little unspoken moment. Robin sees that I call him Stone Cold. I was so wrong about Batman. He kept me at a distance for a reason. I didn't appreciate it, but he had a point, and it's because he cared. And just Robin has like the Casablanca moment here. It's just, come on, partner. It's been a long night. And they're walking away, and they have this.
I love that line, Dragon. It kind of just sums up everything.
And that's Batman and Robin in a nutshell. It's like, it's been a long night. Let's go home. But when Robin is putting the darkness behind him with the sun that is coming up. It's so symbolic and wonderful, Tiki. Yes.
All right. Okay, so final thoughts, Dragon. Very, very simply, in kind of like a tweet final thought form. This is a very good episode. I don't think it quite hits the consistent highs of part one, but it very much sticks to landing in the ending.
Yeah. So it's a great climax. There's a lot of biding its time in the episode though, and that it shows, and there's no way around it. And again, out of a two-part, it feels like we really wanted to tell part one, and we wanted to tell the ending of part two. We just kind of had to fill in the blanks a little to justify like the rest. Let's approximate. I don't know. Maybe let's say of all the good, basically the climax, the amusement park onwards, like 5 minutes. Let's say the rest of it's. I guess the 15 or so minutes remaining is just the time we got to fill in the blanks. So it shows, but it's not bad stuff. It's like a comfortable padding, I'd say. It's comfortable padding, but it really builds to that climax with the flashbacks and everything. But it builds that exciting Robin versus Zuko, and that's where the heart of the episode is, and that's where the payoff of everything in episode one is. So on the whole, it's a decent two-part. It's no Two-Face, but it definitely it warrants the hype, I think.
All right, Dragon, why don't you give us some Bill Dozier goodness?
Okay. I'm looking forward to this one, by the way.
I'm sure you are.
Something fishy in Gotham? A copyright conundrum or a fisherman's worst nightmare? Can Batman stop the Joker before he claims another victim? Or will Joker's happy haddock never cease? Will Batman need bat shark repellent? Find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to the animated Bat Cave with the Laughing Fish. Be hyped.